Welcome back to SMOPPY'S World. I am your beautiful, ever-smiling host, Lady Ola. SMOPPY'S World is where we get to talk about real-life issues. We talk about faith, families, women, healing, becoming, and evolving. I share priceless lessons from my own world of experiences, and I'm sure you will definitely have one or two to take back home and put to use. If you've been following me thus far, I want to thank you for sticking around. And if you're new here, you are highly, highly welcome to my world. I've been getting tons of questions from the previous videos that I made on abusive relationships. And today, I will be giving you answers to some of the questions that has been sent to me. If you are yet to watch my previous videos, please do so to get a better understanding of what we are talking about in this video. Question number 1. How do I convince my friend to leave an abusive relationship? That's a deep one. It is heart-wrenching to watch someone we love continue to suffer any kind of abuse. We see and we feel their hurt. We feel their shame and pain continuously, which frustrates and angers us. We wonder what we did to make them this way and how we can make them change. Sometimes we cry, we threaten, we beat ourselves up and listen to late night calls that eat into our sleep, only to face another day of heroic measures that's followed by expiration, anger, and sadness, until one day we accept that our loved one has made a choice. They may never accept things. Sometimes they leave, but then go back. It can take many tries before they accept things. We're powerless over the abuse. All we can do is to love them. But for your peace of mind, you need to detach from the situation. That's going to take everything you've got and strength that you didn't imagine you had. In one of the episodes, I shared about my friend who was in an abusive marriage, who wasn't allowed to spend our own money without her husband's consent. I almost developed high blood pressure because of her. Each time I remember that situation, I feel depressed. Sometimes I'll stay awake thinking about her. And I lost weight. Yeah, you'll be like, is it your business? Is it your problem? Yeah, I know. It got to a point where I said to myself, Ola, you need to back off. She's an adult. And whatever decision she makes, she will live by them. You can be profoundly affected by abuse. You listen to them rant, you cover their expenses, you run errands for them, and you make a full-time job of their situation. Meanwhile, you neglect yourself. You're neglecting your home, you're neglecting your job, even your children. And most importantly, you neglect sometimes your peace of mind. You may find yourself taking medication and even acting more fitfully. What I'm saying is, if you can't get through to them, pray for them and ask God to intervene in their situation. Don't get emotionally attached because you must start losing your health over their situation, as I did with my friend. I hope I've answered that question well enough for you. Question number 2 says, I watched your podcast on abusive relationships, and I want to ask this question. How do I leave an emotionally abusive relationship when I deeply love my abuser? Oh my goodness. What? As someone who lived in this situation for over 10 years and had 2 children with our abuser, I can tell you that I understand what you are saying, what exactly you're talking about. I thought I absolutely loved my ex. A lot of people believe that when you are physically abused, that's when you need to pack your bags because you can see bruises. But the thing is, bruises will heal in time. But emotional abuse, it takes years to get through, and you never really get over it. We do tend to love our abusers. In most cases, this is true. We think we can change them through loving them enough. Don't make that mistake. Once you have been abused, you don't love yourself enough. They have destroyed that part of you. And it takes work to get yourself back. To live, you will have to harden your heart a bit. And in your mind, you may think you're going to love him forever or you're going to love her forever. But I can tell you that that's not the case. You will get over him or her, you will heal, and you'll get stronger the longer you are away from them. I know it's hard, and it's very, so very hard to leave someone you think you love. But you see that butterflies in your stomach that you think are attractive every time you look at him? Darling, it's not love. It's fear. So to get away from him or get away from her, you need to reach out to your family, your good friends, someone you can trust completely. If you have been isolated from everyone, as I was, reach out to a counselor or an online community who has been where you are. It will take becoming sneaky, but this is your mental and physical survival. You need to start stashing money away and making your plans. You may have to call someone, a friend, or a family member. If you're financially trapped, then please get yourself out. It will take strength, but you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. One of the most important things to do after you get out of it is to get good counseling and stick with it. It's counseling that will get your head straightened. You will get your head straightened out and ensure you stay out. It will take time, and yes, it will take time. You will be tempted to go back, but please and please and please, don't do it. Things will not change. He will not change. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. And the worse the abuser will get. If you go back, you may have what they call a honeymoon phase, where you think life is going to be beautiful with him or her, and they will change. But I can guarantee you that those phases do not last. And they get shorter every time you go back. And life will get worse every time you go back, because he will be very upset that you left. He will try to get in touch with you to tell you how much he loves you and how much he wants to change for you. But please don't be sucked back into his vacuum. You will learn to love yourself again, and your confidence will come back. I know you think what you have with him is love, but love shouldn't hurt. Someone who truly loves you doesn't try to destroy you. Love walks beside you. It doesn't make you walk in fear behind him. 1 Corinthians 13 shows us as Christians what love is. You need to read it and have an understanding of it. I don't know what the Quran says about love, but as Christians, we are told how to identify real love. Please take care of yourself. Reach out, get help, and get out. I pray life goes well for you. Question 3 says, watching your 2 episodes on relationship abuse, I felt like you were living in the house with me. I have no words to describe how much I appreciate the fact that I stumbled into your podcast. Now I need help because I'm at a breaking point. And after listening to you, I believe you can help me. I have been married for 5 years and I have a 3-year-old daughter. For the past 4 years, my husband hasn't allowed me to work and he will only give me money as he deems fit. The really bad part of my story is that at least 3 times a week I get slapped. Wow. Slammed against the wall or beaten with a belt like a little child. What? He will find a reason to violently attack me no matter what. If I get to go out alone, something that rarely happens, he will strip me naked and check to confirm that I have not had sex where I'm coming from. Whew. After listening to you, I know I must leave this abusive partner, but I can't afford to raise our daughter alone. I don't know what to do. I'd rather die than stay with him anymore. What should I do? How should I go about this? Please help. This is really traumatizing. Ooh, this must have been so hard on you. I want to thank you for sending me this question, really. I really feel your pain. As I have lived your experience, I know exactly where it hurts. And that's what SMOPPY'S word is all about. We're here to help you. Let me start by saying that I can see that I don't need to say much to let you know that you are in the wrong place. Why? Because you already know. I know you know because you said, I would rather die than stay in the marriage. Which means living simply means you are alive and you escape death. It means you will come into a new life. So you will have to leave that marriage as so you can stay alive. Let me address the one thing that you are concerned about, your daughter. You can't raise your daughter alone. That's the question, right? I can't raise my daughter alone. Is that your problem? Well, let me shock you. You're not raising your daughter right now. How can you raise your daughter when you're an emotional wreck? How can you say you're raising a daughter in a place where she sees her mother beating daily? Please, I need you to hear me and listen to me carefully. You have 2 motivations to leave this marriage that I can see. First, you need to stay alive for your daughter. And second, you need to stay alive to raise your daughter. Don't worry about raising her alone. Worry about raising her alive. I would like to help guide you through the process privately. And we will reach out to you offline for details. But here are the first few steps. Number 1, please plan your exit and pray about it if you are a Christian or a Muslim. The second thing I will say to you is you must engage a surprise factor. If you give him a clue you are leaving, you might be in irreversible danger. The third thing I will advise you on is I will advise you to prepare legal support ready for your protection. And we can help you with that and support you because the financial impact of that can keep you down. The last advice I will give you, which I think is very critical. Please trust no friend with a plan, as no one can be trusted. And I'm going to say that again. Trust no friend with your plan, as no one can be trusted. I need you to remember that your daughter needs you to stay alive. And you need to stay alive for yourself. You are the custodian of your own life. Don't let anyone put you in the grave and cut your life short. Live when you are still breathing. May God be with you. May God protect and preserve your life. Okay, let me move to my last question, I believe. No, my fourth question. Says, hi, Ola. I've been watching your podcast about abuse in relationships. And I wanted to ask, why is it so hard to leave an abusive spouse? Things started off great, but now I can't seem to understand where this abuse has come from. Things always start great. Things always start great. Abusive relationships are often extremely intense, and you can become addicted to that feeling. My ex was like that. He's often noted for being generous, supportive, and empathetic, though it's usually an act. And when they are in a good mood, many abusers come across as sweet and charming. The good times together are often very good. Emotionally, those feelings can make you feel very hooked on being with an abuser. And you also get a sense that the abuser knows you well, maybe better than anyone else. Though the bad times are terrible, the good ones can be so amazing that you don't want to go. There are many reasons why it's hard to. Number one, financially. You might be dependent on your abuser, especially if he provides for the majority of your expenses. And the idea of living can seem overwhelming, especially if you're not working outside the home. You might worry about how to provide for yourself and your children. Number two, abusers often isolate their victims from other people. So over time, you may have lost contact with friends and family. The abuser becomes the sole or primary person in your life. And the thought of being completely on your own can be terrifying. Sometimes it's easier to tolerate abuse than to think of being utterly alone. Number three, abusers are often emotionally manipulative, preying on the victim's good nature and kindness. They may threaten suicide if the victim leaves. Then they tell the victim he or she will be responsible if the abuser kills themselves. Abusers tend to apologize profusely after an episode of violence and swear they will do better next time. Don't fall for that. I've been there, done it, dusted. Continued promises make the victim believe the abuser really will change if they're just patient. It's a scam. Number four, custody threats are sometimes used to stop victims from leaving. The abuser may threaten to kidnap the children and vanish and never letting you see them again. Or they might threaten to seek full custody and deny you visitation rights to the victim. Victims may stay with the abuser to be with their children. I almost did with my ex. There was a time he told me that I was going to take them out of United Kingdom and I would never see them again. Don't fall for that. Number five, threats of harm or murder. It keeps some victims in line. Abusers will often tell their partners that if they leave, they will chase after them and they will kill them. The abuser may also threaten to harm the children or other members of the victim's family. A victim might choose to stay because they can't see a safe way to live. The last one, family members sometimes make it hard for victims to leave for religious or cultural reasons. A family may oppose separation or divorce, even when one spouse is abusing the other. Victims are sometimes told they need to try harder or be patient. The abuser's family may also defend the abuser and coerce the victim into staying by minimizing the abuse or promising it will stop soon. I remember I didn't want to leave because my siblings, I don't want them to say she didn't have patience. She didn't even want to get married anyway. Been in an abusive relationship for 10 good years. Let me tell you, try not to beat yourself up too much about why you find it difficult to leave your abuser. I can tell you from my experience that it takes courage and determination to be able to walk out of an abusive relationship. I can only pray that God gives you strength and the courage to put an end to it before He puts an end to you. Question 5. Good morning, ma'am. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you very much. I'm having a good day. I listened to your podcast and I have this question bothering me that I believe you might be able to answer. I'm in an emotionally and verbally abusive relationship. Yet I can't leave him as I feel like I'll never be good enough for anyone. Whoa, seriously? And I'm scared of him. I'm scared of being without him. How do I get out of this relationship? That will never be good enough. Hi, no. Sweetheart, the question you should be answering is, do I want to live with this for the rest of my life? You will never be good enough for your abuser. They will keep on abusing you. Why would they stop? Because they promised their last ex that they would, but couldn't. You have more value. You have more value than to continue being abused. Just because it is emotionally doesn't make it any less damaging than if it were physical. Your partner is playing with your low self-esteem and knows which buttons to press based on your question. You will be perfect for the right person, but you need to lose this fool immediately. Let this fool go. There's no time for dithering in these situations. You have to make the break and stick with it. Stop watching social media feeds. Lose the phone number and avoid hunts where your partner may be. Tell yourself, I deserve better. Repeat it and believe it. Oh my goodness. I had the highest low self-esteem when I was with my ex. Until I got this revelation or this strength or the wisdom that I deserve better. And I stood and I keep repeating it to myself. The more you repeat it, the more you believe it. And when you believe it, you will have the strength to live. You have to be strong and you need to live. I promise you. I have been there. I got in trouble because he broke me. I ended up having a nervous breakdown. Girl, you need to be strong. And let me tell you, you will find love. But what is important first for you to do is to love yourself. You are not alone in your feelings. Someone like me has been there. And there are many out there that have been there also. We all say, get out while you can. I pray you'll be safe. I pray you will love yourself and that you will know that you're loved by God and that your family loves you dearly. Sweetheart, I need you to remember that you are worthy and deserving of a love that feels good, that you can build happier, healthier relationships if and when you're ready. In the meantime, focus on your safety and well-being. And if you believe in God, trust Him for His strength to carry you through. That's all about the questions today. And we have come to the end of this episode. This is your host, Lady Ola, saying, stay safe, stay happy, and stay blessed. Until I see you next time. Take care of yourself and each other. Don't forget to send me any questions that you may have. I promise you, we'll get right back to you. SMOPPY'S World, message me on our WhatsApp, and we'll be all good. I love you.